Da-dum. Welcome to the Grand Line Tourist. I am your tourist, and I'm in need of some dear help from a tour guide. Is there any tour guides out here? I really need some help. You know.
Oh, I'm a tour guide, sir. I'm a tour guide, sir.
Oh.
Sir, what's your name? You didn't
my
mention your
name? No one needs to know my name. I am a mere tourist. No, my name is Jacob. And what about you, dear tour guide? What is your name?
I am Eric, and I'll keep this voice for the length of this bit. I'm done with the bit now. I'm gonna move on from the bit.
Nice.
100%. That's my old-timey, I don't know, 1930s tour guide voice that is on this trip with you. But yes, I am Eric. I am the tour guide here for the Grand Line podcast, which is a chapter-by-chapter tour of One Piece, the beloved manga and anime featured in Shonen Jump. Today, we are talking about Chapter 4, and my good man, the Grand Line tourist himself, the East Blue tourist himself, is going to go ahead and summarize Chapter 4 for us.
That's right. I'm going to give us the itinerary for Chapter 4, The Great Captain Morgan. We come off of the end of Chapter 3, where Helmeppo, the son of Great Captain Morgan himself, has just been punched. And Luffy is quite interested in getting Zolo to join his pirate crew. But Zolo, he's not just about to join anyone's crew without, it's not he's a little hesitant. So Luffy decides that he's going to get some bargaining chips. In the case, he's going to try to get Zoro's swords back from Helmeppo, who stole them from him. Mm-hmm. And Captain Morgan, we find out, is just not the nicest dude, okay? He's constructing a statue of himself, and he's, threatening little girls. It's just not good. But Luffy hears a bunch of ruckus coming from the top of the naval base tower, where this statue of Captain Morgan is being constructed. So you know what's going to happen, Eric? You know how Luffy is going to get to the top of that tower?
I'm feeling alliteration is probably going to pop up right here.
It is, and it's not Go-Go Gadget, it's Gum Gum Rocket.
Yep.
Luffy uses his arms to stretch right up to the very top of the tower, knocking over the statue of Captain Morgan in the process. Not gonna make Captain Morgan happy in the slightest. He then finds Helmeppo up there as well, and basically just steals Helmeppo, tucks him under his arm, because he's gonna use him to find the swords of Zoro, so he can bargain to get him on his crew. And we end with a bit of a rough moment. A gunman at the top of the tower shoots Kobe, who is down talking to Zoro in the, I don't know, the naval yard. Yeah, the yard. Yeah, that's right. And that's the itinerary. That's what's going on in a day at the East Blue tour. It's pretty wild. This chapter 4.
All of that happened in today's itinerary.
Yeah, I'm starting to doubt your abilities as a tour guide. You're taking us into some weird territory, my friend.
Oh my God, this is just the beginning of the weird. So I'm really excited for you to just stick around, because you've already committed to at least 1,030 episodes at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So my first topic, we got to talk about the man himself, the one, the only, named after a rum, or the rum's named after him. He'd probably argue it's named after him. Let's talk about Captain Morgan. Axe Hand Captain Morgan, right? Is that his term? Yeah. What do you think of this guy? This the daddy of Helmeppo, the one that they fear, the townspeople fear this guy more than anybody else.
Yeah, no, Daddy Captain Morgan is...
Oh, no. That makes it sound different.
Okay, fine. Dear Captain Morgan, a good old Captain Naval Base Captain. He's a pretty brutal guy, He, I think the big moment of brutality that stood out to me was when Helmeppo, Helmeppo's a jerk, right?
Yep.
He's not a great guy. You want to punch his face every time you see it. But Helmeppo would not kill a little girl who just happened to be in the yard, not doing what she's supposed to do, disgracing the naval base, whatever. He's not going to kill her. Captain Morgan has no such qualms. He's ready to say, hey, that person disgraced my name. Someone's got to take care of her, right?
You're supposed to. He assumed that when Helmeppo said, I took care of the little girl, he was like, so you killed her.
Yeah, no, and like that's blood. That's rough. Maybe I'm starting to have some sympathy. Maybe I know why Helmeppo turned out the way he did.
Oh my goodness, right? I wrote down that, if throwing a child makes you a butt, then killing a child makes you a monster, and that's what Captain Morgan is. He is the heightened version of like just bad. I think like he's the next. If we're talking about being evil as a staircase, well, he's like a few steps above Helmeppo. So I mean, I don't know if that gives me hope for Helmeppo. I mean, I know something you don't know, but I think
you know something I don't know,
right? And I think I like what you just said. You kind of understand how Helmeppo is who he is now. Even when Helmeppo asks, like you've never even hit me. This guy hit me. You need to kill him. And Morgan just straight up, smacks him, and then says, "You've never been worth being smacked. You've never been worth being smacked. And I don't mind if you use my like greatness to get stuff, but it's me. It's my greatness. You are not great, And I think I bring that up because the first time we're introduced to him with his great like Oda character box on his page, like we see him in his panel, like his introduction with the character box is actually invading his own panel. Like the panel itself, its own frame is like he has like a quarter frame up top of him finishing his statement about how he's great and all this stuff, and then his own character box invades his own statement. Like it's crazy to look at, and it's crazy for me to see and just notice like, oh, this is just kind of like a theme with Captain Morgan. He's so egotistical. Like he thinks he's the best. He thinks he's the strongest. He thinks he's God, essentially, right? He said he has a line in here when he's like, "If I said it's true, then it's true." Right? Ooh. If I give you an order, you're supposed to do it. If you defy me, then I'll kill you. Right? He's leading with fear, essentially.
And one of the ways I wanted to point out that he inspires fear in those around him is with his brutally iconic look. In particular, I just a quick question to lead off this look, Eric. Have you ever bumped your elbow?
I have. Yes.
Yeah, it's not good, right? It hurts.
Oh yeah.
If Captain Morgan bumps his elbow, like an axe is gonna fall out of his arm because you can see the handle of the axe just protruding from his elbow, which this axe is just permanently on his arm. It's ridiculously cool looking, to be honest. A shame that it is in such an evil person.
Right. Yeah. I think it's crazy. It's crazy that he converted his whole arm into an axe. Like that's gonna help him. But I guess it did. I mean, it led to all this thing. And I guess, okay, so another thing I do want to talk about Morgan overall is that he's kind of like the opposite of, or he has the same drive as Luffy and as our good shonen characters. Like, I think this is such a cool thing to see and read that he says that he worked hard and he fought hard and he got strong to get to where he is. It's just that his hubris has evolved him into something like evil, which I hope our characters, like our heroes, never get to. But Morgan has taken his experience and the things he's done to become this jerk of a person, this evil person, essentially abusing his power, which is kind of leads into my the shonen spotlight I wanted to talk about a bit, if we could kind of merge them together, which is that Captain Morgan's own self-perception of himself and his ego has led to toxic hubris. Like he is so hubris and he doesn't even know it. Like it's so bad. Like he's the worst embodiment of that, right?
Oh yeah, just to bring out an example is there's a moment where some of the people that are lifting the tower up of Captain Morgan, someone causes a bump on the arm of Captain Morgan, and Captain Morgan proceeds with the kind of insane comment of, if you scratch the statue of me, it's no different than scratching me. That's how obsessed with legacy this guy is, right? And he's about ready to strike that guy down before Luffy comes on up.
This statue is huge. I don't know if we commented on how big it's it's gigantic. It takes a huge a bunch of guys to lift it up, just to pull it up, right? So the fact that he's mad at this guy for bumping into a building, well, the thing is big. How do you expect me? And also, how is it just that one guy's fault that it landed, right? It got scratched. So yeah.
Just because we're on the moment of talking about raising the statue up, we imagine all these guys, they're kind of pulling on these ropes to, raise the statue up, because it's difficult. You got to kind of have this elaborate system where a bunch of people pull at the same time. This is something I'm not sure if it's intentional. I just wanted to call it out because I think some other tourists might find this to be. I'm starting to really enjoy One Piece for some of the images, and especially some of the subtler images. And in this case, I almost want to say these soldiers pulling on the rope to get this statue up. It looks so much like Luffy's arm when he stretches it to the top of the tower to pull himself up that I was almost want to say it's like visual foreshadowing, or just like, you just got this one stretchy long thing, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a second, that rope's really no different than Luffy's arm in this next couple panels, like a page or so later.
Right.
Possibly completely unintentional, but just that was a fun moment I had while reading, and I just wanted to share.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love that. Just even to like add on to him, like the first line he gives is he says, "I'm so great." Like that's the first time we see Captain
It is
Morgan,
ridiculous, yeah.
right? Like ever. He's like the Kanye West of like the East Blue right now. Like he thinks he's the best. Like that is so crazy to me.
I sometimes wish I could be like Captain Morgan when I wake up in the morning. I'm so great. Like I can't do that. That's another level.
Right. So essentially that's kind of what I wanted to talk a little bit about Captain Morgan. Like I think that's so cool, but it's also kind of cool to see how, like, believing in yourself is one thing, and you can definitely do that. But when you believe in yourself to the point where you're like toxic like that, where you think you're God, where you're above everybody else, like I think that's what he's kind of trying to show here with Captain Morgan. Just like his statue he built of himself, he can think the world of himself. He can make a tower out of himself, like a statue. But somebody is gonna come crashing it down just to kind of put you in your place a little bit when you get too hubris.
No, it's good. In this case, Luffy.
Yeah, exactly.
Good old Luffy.
Yeah. Okay. So we're already kind of talked about it, but let's get into the OP's got jokes. Got jokes. Let's talk about some of our fun jokes and comedy bits in this chapter.
Yeah. No, if I can interrupt you to start one off. I know you mentioned I don't know. Almost like calling it a joke is kind of a bad thing, but Helmeppo not worth hitting, right?
Yes.
I don't know, by itself, it's kind of funny, maybe a joke, but the cool thing about it in particular that it rung to me as a little bit funny is both Captain Morgan and Luffy both say that he's not worth hitting. Yeah, yep. No, I like that callback. It still kind of a mean joke, but like it caught my attention. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I have to say, I think that was my first joke actually. I think first off, just a good on you, an applause to you, Jacob, for calling that. I think this chapter is going to start with the action still continuing from the last one. And you're right. Yeah. And I think for our listeners who listened to the last chapter, you mentioned a lot about the hat. And the hat's actually, I think, in the first panel of this chapter. It's
still on the ground.
And it's still on the ground. Sure. It's on the second panel of the chapter. But it's beautiful, and it's right there, and I just had to give you credit for that because it paid off in a really cool way. If you guys noticed that, definitely for Jacob calling it out. So you guys have to notice, but it's super cool to see it pay off this way. But the joke I wanted to mention is that Helmeppo, like, he's not that hurt. It was a punch. But he's not that hurt, but he needs to be carried out by two Marines. Like, it's so funny. He's, like, hunched over two Marines. It's like, I'm going to get you. I'm going to tell Daddy. I'm going to tell Big Daddy Captain Morgan. Which I think is so dumb. And it's so funny just to, again, emphasize Helmeppo and his weakness.
He's not the, he's just not, he doesn't leave you feeling like you should aspire to be anything like him.
Yeah, exactly. I also have to give a shout out to Helmeppo because they sneak in a joke when he's like, no one's ever touched no one's ever hit me before, not even you, Father. You've never laid a hand on my bizarrely muscular face. Like he says something weird about how his face is really muscular. All right, and then yeah, and I thought that was just really funny, just kind of like a small little bit.
Even Captain Morgan's retort is a bit funny there, just because, like, goes on to say, yeah, it's basically what we talked about earlier. The reason I never hit you is because you're not worth hitting,
Yeah, because you're a weakling. The next joke I really liked was Luffy's lack of listening skills when he's like, "Hey, I'm recruiting you." Right?
Yes.
And you talked about it a little bit, how he's like, he getting some chips, like some chips that he can play, but like a child, Luffy's getting chips to play, right? Like he's the way of him winning Zoro over is like, "Hey, I'm gonna free you. You're joining my crew." And Zoro's like, "I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. Don't do what you're doing." He's like, "Okay, fine.
I'm just gonna steal something that you want, and then you'll have to join my crew."
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, "That's not it," because I think also at this point, Zoro doesn't know that Helmeppo is gonna kill him. Right? I don't think that's been
No,
said
not
yet.
yet.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
think Kobe's actually the one who tells him, right? Later
Kobe,
on.
yeah, Kobe I think reveals him towards the end of the chapter before he takes a bullet.
So, which I think is super funny because then you can even see like Luffy didn't even take the time to explain why he's doing this now, right? So from Zoro's eyes, it's like you're still talking about the same stuff, and I don't want that stuff. But Luffy's like, "Oh, we're doing this. Okay, I'm doing that. All right, I'm gonna do it anyways, and you're gonna be forced to join my crew." You know, which I think.
And it was actually interesting because I think it was almost the authority with which Zoro said, like, I have my own purpose. Like, I'm not going to be a pirate. You know, I'm doing my own thing. It was almost the authority with which he said that convinced Luffy that this guy is perfect. Like, you know, he reminds him of me a little bit, right? I'm going to do the things I want. I'm going to become a pirate. This guy has that same spirit. And yeah, like, I heard that spirit. I didn't hear anything else he said. I heard that. I want him, you know?
Yeah, and I'm going to do it.
Nice.
I'm going to do what's possible. And then the best joke, I think the best joke is Luffy breaking the statue. And I mean, like, it's an obvious bit. You see that it's gonna happen. That's what it's leading towards. But I just think the way he drew the reactions and like the fear, like the dramatic fear everybody else has, in comparison to Luffy, like he's acting like he accidentally spilt milk. Right? Like, oh, dang, that sucks. Like, oops. And I think that joke is just so good.
No,
you see
and I think
it
comes off even better when they're immediately before that talking about how long it took to build this statue.
Yes.
Like, it, you know, it's a big statue, but like my mind, I don't think was thinking like on the order of years, but they mentioned, I think, years in there, you know, like, so this is a long project coming. It must be a big day for everybody. I'm sure there was going to be some nice food or dinner afterwards. There was going to be a reception, and all that's gone out the window.
It's done now. It is done. So those are my those are just my favorite jokes out of this chapter. I don't know if you have any jokes you kind of want to mention.
Oh no, we hit on a bunch of them, and I commented on a bunch of yours. I don't think I have any more specific ones to add. They were all good.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. This chapter's not that meaty, guys. This is one of those chapters, a really good like progressing the story. You can start feeling the week by week pace of these chapters being released. I think starting now, at least. You know?
Oh yeah. No, I'm gonna really quickly I'm throwing just a question at you, tour guide, because
okay.
you know, there was one particular little moment I just wanted to take an interesting point about is,
okay.
you know the little girl in this chapter, right?
Mm-hmm.
She has a mom, and the mom is not particularly happy that, you know, the little girl is hanging out with, you know, Luffy and Kobe, because they were just, you know, basically they just punched, you know, Helmeppo. It's not the kind of people that should be hanging out with. And I really liked how the mom said, like, to the little girl, like, you shouldn't be hanging out with that person, quote unquote.
Yeah.
And you know, this is just one of those things that I found was like a subtle, nice little nod to like, ooh, this Navy and like the politics of it is causing people to dehumanize each other, you know?
Yeah.
And I just kind of picked up on that a little bit. I just wanted to throw it out there before we go on to our closing segments. Because, yeah, like you said, there's not too much that happened. But, like, you know, in between it all, there's, yeah.
That is a really good point where because afterwards, I did note that she does say something like, if they think you're friends with him, they're going to kill us.
Yeah.
Right?
No, and it's so weird. Like, it's just like dividing people in that way that, like, and for some reason, the phrase that person just, like, hit me a little harder, right? Like,
oh, yeah.
You know, she didn't care what Luffy's name was. Like, that's the person that if you hang out with, we're going to be in trouble. So, you got to stay away from that person. I was like, ooh,
and good old Luffy's
you know,
just waving and saying bye like a happy dude the whole time. Like, none of that bothers him. He's the rubber man, right?
Yeah.
Say what you will, it's just going to bounce off of him. It's not going to bother him like that.
Well, if like you were saying, we were kind of wrapping up here. Is there anything else you wanted to hit before we go into
our favorite section?
Dun dun. Yeah, our favorite section. Our panel battle.
Dang it! I was gonna try and say it at the same time as you, but it's really hard to do that over the internet.
Oh, it is. Yes, and you know, in one way, it's a battle that I won. You know, I won the battle to say the panel battle, and now we'll see who's gonna win the actual panel battle.
All right, sounds good. So you already have yours ready. I do. You know what? I can get mine ready right now. Give me a sec.
All right. Yeah.
Why don't you talk a little bit about what the segment is while I get it all set for us?
Yeah. No. So in the panel battle, me and Eric take the moment, the panel in this chapter of One Piece that spoke to us in some way the most this chapter. You know, I might be the kind of person that likes to look at landscapes or beautiful imagery, or sometimes I want to see, you know, just the lines on a character's face in a close-up. And we both present our favorite panels. We talk about them for a moment, and and then it's not really for us to say. It's more for you, other tourists out there yourself, or maybe you even consider yourself to be a little bit of a tour guide. Maybe you got a little bit ego of Captain Morgan going on there. You think you're a better tour guide than Eric? Well, you can let him know what you think your favorite panel is, and we're gonna call it out now. We actually got a sweet new way for you to reach out to us. We'd love to have all your comments and suggestions, feedback, favorite panels sent to us at grandlinetourist@gmail.com.
It's brilliant. I'm so happy we found a name that's synonymous with One Piece that's also not taken. So we can make all our original own little emails and stuff like that.
Should be easy to remember. It's our name of our podcast plus @gmail.com. We're looking out for you. And okay, you want to let me know, Eric has now presented me with the page of the chapter that has his panel, but I don't know which panel it is yet, and I'm excited to hear which one.
It's the top one. It's the first one.
Oh, it's the top one. Look at that. Okay, well, this is actually harkening back to one of our favorite jokes of this episode. Yep. This is the very, very beautiful, long investment into the statue of Captain Morgan coming crashing down. You have Luffy in the right hand of this half-page spread. Wow. ... You have a cracoom of the sound that this statue is making as it gets destroyed, and you have all these poor Marines I don't know, they've had to let go of the rope because otherwise they would be toppling over with this thing, but they're still reaching towards it as if saving it is going to save their own lives.
Yeah.
Yes, their lives depend on it. So that is a great choice. Is there anything else you want to call out about your panel for this week? For this chapter.
Yeah, I just think I just like how look at everybody else's body, even on the page in comparison to Luffy. All right, and then we get it paid off on the next page too, where Luffy's saying sorry, I think is what he's saying. Yes, on the next page over, which is parallel or no parallel, I guess parallel, the same region of the page, real estate wise, on the opposite page. But I
can't trust my tour guide anymore. He didn't pass geometry. No, I know, right? How are you going to get me across the East Blue? I need to know that we're going to have the right heading at all times. And
I never said I was a navigator. I've only said I was a tour guide. I point to things, tell you a little bit about it, and then we move on. It's not my job.
You're not a natural Kobe, huh? You're more of a Luffy when it comes to navigation.
I'm more of a Luffy with half the coolness. The other thing I just noticed too is that the statue has his arms open, kind of like that big statue in Brazil. You know what I'm talking about? Of Jesus Christ.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, the huge one. I'm hoping it's Brazil. Someone correct me on that. I could be very wrong.
We got a new email specifically so you can yell at us as we make horrible, insensitive remarks about other people's
statues, which I think is so funny. He thinks of himself as a god. There's definitely Jesus imagery, and Luffy just destroyed this statue, which I think is so funny.
All right, now Eric, are you ready to hear what panel I have to bring to this battle?
Yeah, I am. Show me.
I thought I was gonna have to reach in and send you a photo, but it's actually on the same page as yours. I thought when you brought up this page, I thought this is it. It's gonna happen real fast. We're gonna have the same panel, and it's not. Mine is the lower right hand panel of this page.
Oh, okay. So based off of my favorite panel is actually sequential to Jacob's.
Yeah, no, it's one away. Mine's right after Eric's.
Yeah, and it's Captain Morgan's great reaction shot to his statue crashing. He's crying. I think this is the only time we're gonna get Captain Morgan this devastated, ever. There's just so much to say about his face. His face there's tears coming out. He's whited out. Oda's whited out his eyes, so you can tell he's that far gone from his sense of reality, his sense of self. He's so engrossed by the fact that his poor statue is gone, and it's just a close up. It is a long panel of his close up of his face.
Yeah, and what's at the lower left in the panel?
Lower left is something sticking out. Is this a cigar?
Yeah, it's really weird when you first look at it. My mind jumps to, is he chewing on a rope? But no, it's a, I'm pretty sure it's a cigar from prior panels. He's always munching on one in his teeth, I think.
Is it? Oh man, I didn't even notice he had one in his mouth. Oh, he does have one.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, and I guess even when he's scared and crying, he's not gonna let a good cigar go to waste. Apparently,
no, never, dude. Never.
But yeah, it's such a iconic look. This is one of my favorite zoom ups on a character. Yeah, just the sweat and the tears mixing together.
I think that's great. I think that's so funny. It's funny we're so close. One day we'll line up on favorite panels.
Yeah, no, we're getting consistently close, and yeah, I think that about sums up everything for chapter 4. I was gonna try to talk as if I had a cigar in my mouth, like Captain Morgan there.
This is right. This is how we're gonna do it now. We both committed.
Yeah. This is you might have enjoyed the podcast so far, but it's about to get a lot worse apparently.
Yeah, this is it. Jacob, why don't we end today's chapter by just for one, inviting people to come back the next time to listen to us talk about chapter 5. I think the onomatopoeia I would like is us trying to puff our fictional.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta say, puff our fictional our cigars. Say.
All right, no, sounds good. I'm really interested in puffing my cigar. I've never puffed one in real life before. You take a puff first, and I'll take a puff, and we'll keep puffing until the podcast is puffed out.
Cigars are much cooler than they actually are because they're gonna sound real dumb. Because most of the time it sounds like this.